how estate agents can get a great personal brand. Today, I'm joined by Chris Arnold, who is, in my eyes, one of the best people in the UK to help estate agents grow a personal brand. Talk to me, Chris.
I think it's first impressions for personal brand. There is a film called Motherless Brooklyn, which is Ed Norton. For those that are actually interested in films, it's a fantastic film. But when he was talking about creating that, he said the characters within that film, you have to go from 0 to 60 on the first page of the script. So you have to get people input into the character there within the first minute, if you like. And those that don't get that 0 to 60 first impression struggle. And that is where a estate agency can learn a huge lesson from the sort of the storytelling and the films and the TV. It's important to get that first impression right, because people make, as I've said before, people make snap judgments.
Okay, right. So people do make snap judgments. However, if you've been playing the long game, which I know which I'm a big fan of, I know you are as well, almost the infinite game, as Simon Sinek would say, is if you've created a brand, you don't need to go from 0 to 60 straight. That's how most estate agents, you have to, first impressions count is the first 30 seconds when they walk through the door. If you've created a personal brand, they feel like they know you before you walk through the door.
Yep.
Which is, I'm assuming that why you set that thing up about the film is if you've already got the personal brand, you're 90% of the way there, aren't you?
Yeah, certainly.
It's there for you to lose it, not to.
The person that has invited you there is not talking to a stranger. They know you. They understand.
It's the classic know, like, and trust.
Exactly. Before you've even met.
Okay, so the title of the video was Top Tips on How to Grow a Personal Brand.
Okay.
Is it just a case of thinking, right then, I just want to be famous, so here I am. Ta-da!
I think, everyone's entitled to their 15 minutes of fame, but that's what it becomes. It becomes a sort of an addiction, if you like, to that fame, so that you've done, a week or a month of high-profile videos where you've had the millionaire lifestyle, but then it becomes a little bit boring, so you have to make it something else.
The number of agents I see who get one viral video and then chase the viral video.
Yeah. And I mean, people are interested in people. We both agree on that, and it's why people will read a biography, because they want to know more about that person.
Right.
So if you don't tell them about yourself,
but you have to be interesting for them to be interested.
Well, isn't everybody interesting?
I would hope so.
Well, there you go. Everyone is unique in some particular way, and part of the personal brand is finding out what that special something is.
So is it a case
if I talk about myself, which I know you don't like, but I'll talk about myself. My superpower, if you like, is finding the potential within people, and that that really is everything about me. I'm interested in other people, but the thing that I find interesting is finding out the things about them that make them interesting and what their superpowers are.
Okay, I don't disagree with you on that one. You've got to get people, A, you've got to grab their attention, and B, get them to listen to what you have to say.
Yep.
And therefore, I'm of the opinion that the vast majority of homeowners are interested in the value of their own home.
And I tend to disagree with that one.
Then why does everyone go on Rightmove to see when they see a brand new for sale board on their street? Okay, they have a nosy at the pictures. They also mainly look at the price.
Yeah, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the price is what the price is.
Yes, but you're not talking at that through the eyes of a homeowner seeing that Bob across the road.
Yeah.
But if you follow what I suggest agents, if you want, I'm a huge believer in personal brand. We agree with that. And the purpose of this video is to give top tips. I'm suggesting that one, not the only thing, one of the things that you should talk about is the local property market. because everyone is interested in what's the value of their own home. And you should talk about the local community.
Now you're getting somewhere.
Okay, because we are in very unique position that if you're an agent in, what town are you in?
Solihull.
Solihull, ooh, posh bit. Then the Solihull people live in Solihull, and people are interested in what's happening in Solihull. So why don't you talk about the Solihull? Anything to do. That's why I'm a big fan of the digital mayor technique, where you interview people from the local community about why they love the community.
Yeah.
And because you're a community-based estate agent. And isn't it interesting that there are estate agents out there that had 10 or 15% of the population listening to an average of around 18 minutes of a 25-minute show each week, and it was done on mobile phones in their office after hours.
Yep.
Because you're talking about the community, and you should be talking. So it's not. Yes, okay. My daytime job is I create content for agents, but if you actually read what I suggest, you talk about the community and everything to do with the community, and interview people. And if you can do it using the power of video, because people can actually see you, then they get to see you.
Okay. I agree with the community. I agree with personal branding for people. I'm less inclined, and I know you're a huge fan, and much of your business is based around the local market statistics, etc., etc., etc. I think if someone said, "Are you more interested in the community, or are you more interested in hearing what Gary Vaynerchuk's been up to for the day, or Tony Robbins has been up for the day, or whoever?"
It's always the community.
You think the community is more interesting than people?
It depends what's going on in the community that I'm interested about versus what Gary's talking about.
Yeah.
It's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and everyone's interest is different.
Of course it is.
So
that's why you need a smorgasbord of different content.
Yeah.
Would you agree that you have to create interesting content? Because remember, the premise of the video is, how do you create a personal brand?
Yeah.
It is about content, isn't it?
It's about content in terms of, I mean, you can create content that doesn't involve personal brand.
Okay.
So if it's going to be focused on personal brand, you have to talk about yourself.
In what respect? Because again, I'm conscious that, we've only got a limited amount of time on this video.
Yep.
Give us we need to start getting some tips down for the ladies and gentlemen watching this video.
Okay, well, going back to the sort of the disc profiling and the actual characteristics of those profiles, I would argue that an agent should talk about their character. So I'm very good friends with a guy down in Devon whose core values, if you like, the first one is kindness. And he's a super competent estate agent. He puts kindness and consideration and integrity and everything at the forefront of everything that he does.
Okay.
So I'm more interested in that. And if
so what does that actually look like for the ladies and gentlemen watching this video? What does if I saw if I matched up to this person, man or woman, what would I actually see? Because you're not going to say I'm a kind person.
No, you'd see a guy who was saying, okay, these people were struggling. They had a house that was on the market with me. The lawns needed cutting. They couldn't really afford to have them cut, so here's me cutting the lawn, if you like. So the kindness.
So they're telling a story.
They're telling a story.
Oh, hallelujah! Good.
Yeah. So you basically, or a guy who is competitive. If you take the D side of things, a guy who's competitive. This was one of my clients, and they wanted 500,000, and I got them 550,000 because I was, aggressive in the way I negotiated. So you're telling that story about not only the situation that occurred, but about you as a person. So the kind person was cutting the lawns, the aggressive guy was getting the better valuation.
Okay. Now, I'm a huge fan of storytelling, but you've got to be careful that are you the hero or are you the guide?
You're definitely the hero. You're the superhero. And I know you disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah, I know you do.
You should be more Obi-Wan Kenobi and less Luke Skywalker.
No, I think it's the other way around. Totally.
Okay.
Excuse me. People want superheroes. They need protecting.
Yes, but surely that's what, we all remember Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guide. He was the,
You can put him as a guide.
He was...
Luke Skywalker was the superhero.
Yes, but at the end of the day, we are here to serve. We are not. Again, if you look at most estate agents, they see estate agencies there to serve them. We're here to serve. We are servants.
Well, I would disagree with that, actually.
Okay.
And that goes back to what we talked about earlier, which was status. So the status of someone, a solicitor, is not so much there as a servant. He will provide the information. If you go into a restaurant, a top class restaurant, and the sommelier comes over, and the status of that sommelier is far above you for that particular moment when he's talking about the wine and stuff like that. And you're going to be reliant on his advice, the information. So you can say, okay, he's a guide, but he's actually the guy that you're going to put your faith and trust in.
But surely that's the purpose of a guide, is to say go up that path.
Okay, well you can.
But but they're not the superhero. I'm the client, and I'm there to be guided and told what to do. If I trust that person, then I'm still the hero. You're saying the agent should be the superhero.
I think it's more interesting if you're a superhero than a guide.
Okay, we all just have to agree to disagree on that one. But again, we've got a couple more minutes left.
Okay.
So telling stories is one of your tips.
Yeah.
What other tips have you got?
I think just continuing the story brand. I mean, I think the curiosity and the suspense of the stories matters, because you can tell a story and that's the end of the story. But if you tell a story that in parts, so it's not all, here's the story, end of, the end.
The classic loops with the soap operas.
Yeah.
And yep, I totally agree with you.
So
on that.
what's happening then?
I mean, one of the things I advise agents to do is almost do Holmes and the Hammer style videos where they go back and do a classic story. Humans love stories. It's how you get into the emotional side of the brain.
Yeah.
And we both agree that if you can get the emotional side of the brain to say yes, you're on to a winner.
Yeah.
What other techniques? I mean, let me just give this technique in if I can. Is if someone said to me, how do I grow a personal brand? I just say, be helpful.
Be helpful.
Be helpful.
Okay.
If and whichever way you produce that content, which is helpful, be it whether it educates, entertains, whether it talks about the property market, whether it's talking about the industry, whether it's talking about the local community. It's why I do these videos here. I do these because I find that helpful. But do you know the real reason why I do these videos?
Tell me.
For my own mental health.
Okay.
Purely selfish.
Yeah.
Because I know damn well that if I sat on my kitchen table 9 to 5, I would go up the wall. So every Monday I get 1 or 2 people in and I interview them and I have a fantastic conversation, because I would not have a conversation with and this is I can give a shit whether these cameras are here or not.
Yeah.
I'm having a great conversation with someone I respect and like. Some of the stuff we do agree on, the vast majority of things that we don't. There just happens to be people watching it. And therefore, on the back of that, I've created a personal brand in the estate agency industry. What you're suggesting is people should do estate agents should do the same in their community.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's basically the community leader, if you like. I wouldn't.
Digital mayor, same thing.
I was going to say I wouldn't frame it as a digital mayor, but you could do.
Well, digital just means online. Mayor, local important person.
Yeah.
Just don't have a chain around the neck.
In terms of importance, I wouldn't put the phrase important into it. I think it's an attractive character, and it's that attractive character that people are attracted to, if you like. So it's basically pulling people in as opposed to pushing out. When you get that sort of attraction, the energy flows into you and you get the affluence, if you like.
So, personal branding, create great content that's helpful. You say talk about yourself and your own values.
Yep.
I say talk about what other people are interested in, but fundamentally they get to the same point.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today, Chris.
Thank you.